Welcome to the wonderful world of Paste Special and the amazing things that you can do with Paste Special to improve your workflow on Excel. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos that are going to make your work life much easier. I highly recommend that you download the practice Excel file from the description below so you can follow along with me. To start off, you can just copy any cell like you normally would by hitting right click and copy, or just Ctrl C. You can now go into a blank cell, go into the home section of your ribbon, go into the paste option and click on Paste Special, or you could use the Ctrl Alt V shortcut in Windows or the Command Ctrl V shortcut in Mac to open up this Paste Special dialog box. Now you can see that there are a lot of different options inside the Paste Special dialog box, and each of them give you an incredible way to make your life easier in Excel. Now I'm going to go through each and every one of these options and tell you what is formulas, what is values, what is formats and so on, and how to use them and the way they work. Now that we are in all, let's start off with all, and if you just click OK, it's going to paste everything just like it would if you just hit Ctrl V to paste. Now the second option in the Paste Special dialog box was formulas. Let's create a very simple formula in this cell D3. Let's say equal to C3 and hit enter. This is now a formula, right? If we want to paste this formula for the rest of the cells, what we'll have to do is just hit Ctrl C for copy. Select the other cells where you want to paste it. Hit Ctrl Alt V to bring up the Paste Special dialog box. And you can now hit F because the F is underlined here, if you can see that. And likewise, the shortcut for all of these are underlined below it. So if we hit V, it goes to value. If you hit T, it goes to format and so on. So in this case, we're going to paste the formula. If you hit F again, it goes to formula. Hit enter and it's going to paste only the formula in all of the other cells. So this was C3. This is now C4, C5, C6, C7 and C8. Now let's say we want all of these cells to have the same formula which is equal to C3, right? We would go here and hit F4 to lock in the cell, hit enter, copy now and go back down, Ctrl Alt V, F for formula, enter, and you can now see it's pasted all the formula but it stays at C3. The next option was values, right? Now let's say we don't want to paste the formula, we only want to paste the value. We can go ahead and delete these cells just to demonstrate. We still have the formula here. Select the other cells, Ctrl Alt V, and now go ahead and select V. You can now see that we still have all the same values, which is 43,000. But if you look carefully at the formula bar, you no longer have equal to C3 with the dollar signs like you have it cell number D3. The rest of the ones we pasted down below are only the value of the cell that you copied. So that is the difference between formula and value. Now the third option in the Paste Special dialog box was formats. Now this is also going to be very useful for us in this exact case because as you can see, the first cell D3, it says 43,000.00, whereas here in D4 it says 43,000 with no comma or decimal point. Here we have 43,000 with the decimal point and the comma, but it's in bold, whereas D3 was not in bold. And here we have these three cells where it's not in bold and no comma and no decimal point. So we want all of the cells to match in terms of formatting. So the way we do this is, again, we've copied this cell, select all of the others, Ctrl Alt V to bring up the dialog box. Now we want to hit T for formats and click on OK. You can now see that it's all beautifully formatted just by using Paste Special. Okay, so now I'm reviewing this file and I see that this 43,000 should actually be 22,000 and this 43 should actually be 45 and so on. And the preparer of this file has made a mistake and created 43 across the board. So as a reviewer, I'm going to send this file back to the creator with a comment on this cell. To do this, we would normally go into insert and click on comment. I'm going to create a comment saying fix these values, and I'm going to hit Control and Enter to go ahead and post that comment. You can now see by this little pink indicator that this cell has a comment. Now we want to go ahead and paste this comment across all of the cells that have a mistake. We go ahead and copy that, select all of the other cells, click Ctrl Alt V and click on C for comments and notes. Hit enter. You can now see that each and every one of these cells have that exact same comment that I've posted to fix these values. Paste Special gives you the option to paste validation as well. To demonstrate this, we need to have a validation first in place. Now this drop-down list is called data validation. If you don't know how to create a drop-down list, I'll leave a link up here, or I'll leave a link in the description as well to check out that video. So if we just click on Ctrl C and Ctrl V, we can see that it pastes the drop-down list in the second cell as well. But what if we have a different formatting on this cell, right? Let's say we have yellow, we have text color as red, we have bold, and so on. Now if we select any of the options in the drop-down list, you can see that it is a red text that is bolded with a yellow background, right? Now if we copy this and paste it here, it's going to have the exact same formatting. So what if we have to paste it in a different sheet or in a different workbook where you need the data validation but you don't want to carry forward this formatting? That's when you can just paste the validation. So again, we want to paste it in cell H7, press Ctrl Alt V, go into N for validation, hit enter, and you can now see that we have the validation, but we are not carrying forward the yellow background, the bold, and the red text. We have something called as all using source theme in Paste Special. Now this is something that you wouldn't frequently use, but it is something that you should know nevertheless. The only time you would really have to use this is when you copy something like a chart, which I've created here, right? Copy this, and if you paste it, in most cases, it's going to paste everything just like you copied it. But in cases where you're not able to paste that format from the source theme, that's when you could use all using source theme and get all the information according to the source. Okay, now we're going to copy this entire table and we're going to come into Paste Special and save all except borders. This is quite straightforward. It's going to paste everything that is there in the table, which means it includes the formatting of the numbers. So 43, 000, 0.00 and so on. It also pastes the color of the cell as well as the text. But as you can see, it has pasted everything other than the borders that surround the text. You can also use Paste Special to adjust the width of your column, and this is something that I use all the time. So to make your Excel sheet look nice, it is very crucial that you make everything look uniform and neat. So let me copy this down to this cell. And as you can see, it looks all over the place. It looks horrible and it's not really readable. Even if I adjust the column like this, it's not really going to look nice to your boss who's reviewing this file. So all you have to do now is select the column that you need to adjust the column with. And you can see that you've already copied the original source data. Come into Paste Special and say paste column width and see that the column width, which is 30.5 and 24.25, is the exact same here, 30.5 and 24.25. This makes your Excel workbook look so much better when you need to align certain things and make it all look neat and tidy. So now you can see that I've added a simple formula here in column D, where I've just equal to the salary column, right? So this is equal to C3, this is equal to C4 and so on. So we are going to have this formula and we're going to have this number column, which is a salary column. Now we need to copy this and paste it at a different location. What do? We go ahead and put Ctrl V, right? It's going to give you information that is the exact same thing, but it's also going to paste in the borders of the cell, the colors, the number formatting and everything exactly as it is here. But we can also go ahead and go to Paste Special and say formulas and number formats. Click OK, and now you can see that it does not copy in the cell color, it does not copy in the text color, it does not copy in the borders, But what it does do is copy in the text of the numbers. It also copies in the formulas, just F10, F3 and so on, which is equal to this what we have pasted. And it also pastes in the format of the number. So you get the comma and the decimal point. Everything that you need except for the formatting of the cell. The next one is pretty similar. We're going to go ahead and copy the exact same data. Now what we want to do is go ahead and go to paste special and the next item, which is values and number formats. As you probably guessed, it's going to do the exact same thing that the first option did, which is formulas and number formats. But in this case, it's not going to copy in the borders. It's not going to copy in the cell color or the text color. What it is not also going to do is it's not going to copy in the formula in column D. It's going to only give the numbers that are there in column D. So let's hit equal to, and you can see that it's the same information as the previous option. But if you go in here, there are no formulas anymore. It's only the values from column D that are pasted into column G. Now I've highlighted the duplicate values for this entire column. Right? Let's go ahead and do that again. Duplicate values and OK for the entire column. Right? So now if I copy this and paste it here, it's going to give me the exact same information, including the conditional formatting. But now what if I need to copy this 43,000 to a new cell and I need to bring in the conditional formatting as well? That's when all merging conditional formats comes in handy. And as you can see, it's pasted in 43,000. But now if I drag down 43,000, it's going to recognize that it is also pasted in that conditional formatting and all of the 43,000s are duplicate values, and it's going to now conditionally highlight those duplicate values as well. Paste special also allows you to use some operations such as addition, multiplication, subtraction and division. Now I know that this might not seem like something that you would use normally, but it is important to know because where it comes in handy is that if you're doing some rough calculations on the side of your Excel sheet, then you can use this function to make your life a little bit easier. So let's say we have a few numbers, right? Let's say 10,000 and 10,000. Now what happens is that if you want to add up these two numbers, the way you would do it is either select them both and look at the sum section on the bottom right hand side of your Excel sheet, or you would use the sum function and hit enter. But the other thing that you could do is just come here, copy this cell, right? And you want to add up these two and paste the sum into this itself. So you come into this cell, hit Ctrl Alt V and click on add. So what it's going to do is take this number that you've copied, add that number into this number and give you the answer. So you click OK and you're going to see that this is going to remain here, and this is now the initial 10,000 plus this. Now let's try that again. Let's say we want to copy this 10,000, add that into this cell, and that should give us 10,000 here in E5 and 30,000 here in E7, right? So let's try that again. Let's hit Ctrl Alt V, go into add, OK, and now you have 30,000. Now let's subtract that 10,000 from here. Again, Ctrl Alt V, subtract, OK, and you can see it now is 20,000. Let's say that we want to multiply this 10,000 with this 20,000. We should have 200 million if we do that. Let's go ahead and click Ctrl Alt V, multiply, OK, and we can see that we now have 200 million in cell E7. Now if we divide 200 million with 10,000, we should now be able to get back to 20,000. So let's go ahead and do that. Ctrl Alt V, divide, OK, and now we have 20,000 again. It's very simple, but there are very few use cases for this. I have not used it a lot, to be honest, but it's good to know because if you are in a situation where you need to use something like this, you know how to get there. Okay, now let's say that we have a few items missing from this table and we want to paste all of this data, but we don't want to paste the blank cells. So if we would normally copy this using Ctrl C and paste it using Ctrl V, it would copy and paste exactly the same thing including the blank cells. But now if we use paste special and go into skip blanks, right? All skip blanks. You can also paste values with skip blanks or the formula with skip blank and so on. So let's say all, and let's go ahead and say, okay, we're going to have all of the information, but it's not going to paste those blank items. Now let's go and Control Z this. We're going to only paste the values without the formatting, remember, and let's do skip blank and see what happens. You can see that it doesn't copy the format, it doesn't copy the color, it doesn't copy anything other than the value itself, and it doesn't copy, as you can see, this formatting also. It skipped the blank items entirely. Now let's get to transpose, which is the next feature on paste special, and according to me, this is the most important feature and most useful feature when it comes to paste special. So what it does is it takes horizontal values and transposes it into vertical values. So let's say we want to take this employee number column and we want to make it headings across a row, right? So what you would do is copy this value, go down here and say Ctrl-Alt-V and go into transpose. Select OK, and you can see now that you have the employee numbers in a vertical format. And it doesn't just work with one column. You can also go ahead and select multiple columns, copy it, do the exact same thing, Ctrl-Alt-V, and this time you select E for transpose and select OK. You can now see that the employee number column has become the top row and the salary column has become the bottom row. Now let's say that you want E2 to have employee number and it has to be linked to this heading, right? So what you would normally do is put equal to, click on B2 and hit the F4 to fix it and hit enter, right? It would bring the same value and it would be a link, as you can see on the formula bar. But what if you don't have to do this and if you have to paste it in multiple locations? It becomes a headache to go into each cell to type equal to, click on the cell or give the cell reference, hit the $sign, do it over and over and over again to paste it in multiple locations. So what you would do is copy employee number, right? Go into E2 where you need to paste it, Ctrl-Alt-V for the paste special and say paste link. If you now see it's pasted B2 with the $sign. So if you copy it anywhere, it's going to remain the same formula, right? And it's going to link to employee number. So here, if I change it to employee and hit enter, it's going to change across everywhere you have linked that reference. So again, it's a very, very useful feature to use that paste link feature. Now click here for more Excel tutorials so you can boss your office. My name is Kenneth. You're watching Boss Your Office. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss future Excel tutorials. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.